alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Living in the West, the series of episodes where we look into providing ideas for vision and a strategy for the Muslim minorities in the West. I have with me Sheikh Haytham Al-Haddad from the Muslim Research and Development Foundation, an organisation in the UK which aims to provide solutions for this group of Muslims. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, in the previous episodes we spoke extensively really about the importance of da'wah as a second obligation really for a person, a community and somebody on an individual level. We spoke about going out and making a direct da'wah, but there was an issue that we came up to was preventing the evil and increasing the good as a community. And this is one of the aims of da'wah. Could you give us some explanation on this?
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal-mursaleen Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. We said that basically da'wah can be classified into three types. The first type is calling people to Islam. And also within that type or within that level of da'wah there are sub-levels or types. The second main type is calling Muslims to their religion to strengthen their Islam. And the third type, which is minimizing the evil and increasing the good. Now, Allah Jalla wa Ala says in the Quran, كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. Now, this, unlike the other ayah, وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ. Unlike also the other ayah, أُدْعُ إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ. أُدْعُ and وَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ, all talking about da'wah in general. But here, in the ayah of Surah Ali Imran, تَأْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَتَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ, is emphasizing other aspects of da'wah, which is enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. Enjoying the good and forbidding the evil, it is not going to stop the evil and maximize the good. Not necessarily. It may and it may not. But at least we have to have that process of enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. And that's why Allah Jalla wa Ala in the ayat of Surah Al-A'raf, when Allah Jalla wa Ala spoke about Bani Israel, and there was a group of people who are trying to stopping them from doing the evil. They said, and Allah Jalla wa Ala said, and He is mentioning the dialogue taking place between both parties. They said, لِمَ تَعِظُونَ قَوْمًا اللَّهُ مُهْلِكُهُمْ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُهُمْ عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا. Why are you giving this admonition to some people whom Allah Jalla wa Ala going to punish them or destroy them? قالوا معذرة إلى ربكم ولعلهم يتقون. They said it is an excuse. And they may fear. So we know, or they know, that they will not have taqwa, but at least we are doing our job in calling to Islam, in minimizing the evil and increasing the good. Moreover, Allah Jalla wa Ala in Surah Hud, He mentioned ayat, and really we need to reflect on these ayat. Anyway, because of time, we'll just mention the last verse. When Allah Jalla wa Ala says, وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ لِيُهْلِكَ الْقُرَى بِظُلْمٍ وَأَهْلُهَا مُصْلِحُونَ. Subhanallah. Allah Jalla wa Ala wouldn't destroy the towns because of dhulm, because of injustice taking place, provided what? That their people are muslihun. They are rectifying. They are enjoying the good and forbidding the evil. This is one of the main aims. And by the way, many brothers and sisters, when they are living in the West, they said, look, fasad everywhere. Evil things everywhere. So what is your job? Allah will protect us, will protect you, if you try to minimize that evil and increase the good. Just by doing that, Allah will protect you. But just by criticizing it, it will never help. And don't think that this will be a justification for you to leave that country, because every single country we go to, there will be some fasad. In Makkah al-Mukarramah, is there no fasad? Huh?
There's fasad everywhere.
There is fasad. Even in Mecca, even inside the haram. Haven't you ever seen some munkar in the haram? Many people, or some people, are doing some bid'ah. Is that true or not? Some women are not dressed properly. Even I have seen some people are swearing inside the haram. So this is fasad. What is my role as a Muslim? Is to try to stop that fasad. So in London, of course, the amount of fasad cannot be compared to Mecca, but there is fasad. We are not talking about the volume of the fasad, but we are talking about the role of the person, whether it is a minor fasad or whether it is a major fasad. As far as you are doing your job, which is enjoying the good and forbidding the evil, Allah will protect you. And now in the West, of course, the amount of fasad, the volume of fasad is so huge and is so big. We need to minimize it. Sometimes, some people are thinking in a very idealistic way. They wish to stop all the fasad all of a sudden. And if they cannot stop the fasad all of a sudden, then they said, we are not doing anything. No, that is not right. That is not right. If a woman, and let us take a practical example, in a society, if there is obscenity, and there is nudity, and there is nakedness, etc., at least, if we cannot achieve that the people wear hijab, applying hijab all of a sudden, then at least we should stop this obscenity, nudity, etc. A woman is dressing, is not having hijab, but is dressing modestly, is much better, far better than a woman, for example, wearing mini skirt or something low top, or is far better than that. So the people, what is the mentality of many shabab? Is that, oh, look at this nudity, look at this obscenity, look at these things. What is your job? We are not doing anything, or we are not doing enough towards minimizing that, to increase the morality of the society. This is something also desired. Maybe we cannot stop, for example, alcohol completely, but many people are marching towards minimizing it, and we are not participating in doing that, just minimizing it. For example, you remember when there was a discussion in the parliament in the UK about 24 hours pubs.
To open licensing all day.
Yeah, 24 hours to give them. How many Muslims, I did speak with some Muslims, how many Muslims did vote against that? Is this fasad? We need to minimize it. What is better? A kafir who is drinking 1 bottle of wine, or a kafir who is drinking 10 bottles, or who is drinking every day? A kafir who is not drinking alcohol, or a kafir who is drinking alcohol? If we cannot make him Muslim, then at least we should convince him not to drink alcohol. Because a kafir person who does not drink alcohol, he is closer to Islam than a kafir who is what?
Who's drinking.
Who is drinking.
So basically the concept here is to minimize, not to, if you can't get everything, get something. Not the opposite way, that we can't get something, we're not going to get anything.
Exactly. This is the deception that so many Muslims are having, especially so many shabab who are enthusiastic to apply sunnah are having. Same thing with the issue of voting and politics and participating in these things. Now, take for example councillors. We have 2 councillors. One councillor who is saying that I will open big pubs, as they opened this big casino in Manchester.
That's right, yeah.
They said it is the 2nd biggest in the world. So a councillor or an MP or a mayor who is supporting that, or a mayor who is against that. Yes, the one who is against that, he is not promoting Islam, he is not accepting Islam. But what is, just even on a personal safety, what is better for you? To have 10 pubs next to your door, or having no pub next to your door? The people are not accepting Islam, but yet they are not doing these things. And one of the aims of Sharia, and it is a well-established principle, is to minimize the evil and increase the good. Even the fuqaha, the usuliyin, when they spoke about this issue, they have not said to stop the evil. They said not to yuqif al-munkar, yuqallil al-munkar, minimize.
To shorten it. To
shorten it. Minimize it.
Because eventually it will stop, but to stop in one
go. Exactly. This is an integral part of our identity, of our presence in the West, and we need really to take it seriously.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh Haytham. Well, we're going to take a short break and return in a couple of minutes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Back to the Prophet. Join Sheikh Ammar in the program Back to the Prophet, wherein he teaches us practical lessons from the Prophet's life and how this can help us to overcome our challenges in the present.
We talk about the life example of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, seeking guidance for ourselves. In the early days after the revelation of the Holy Quran, the Muslims were greatly persecuted, so much so that quite a few Muslims had to leave Arabia and migrate to Africa to live among Ahl Kitab, Christian people who followed the gospel of Christ.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Living in the West. Sheikh, we spoke about a lot in these previous episodes, and we just started and we really just got into speaking about dawah and the role of the community. But let's just have a recap of everything we've gone through now. We spoke about a vision, the reason we need a vision, what's the actual vision itself, and then we spoke about breaking this matrix up. Can we start from the beginning? Let's just get a recap on this, Sheikh.
Yeah, okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first point that we need to realize is the importance of having a vision or having a strategy. And as we said in the beginning, forget about the technicalities between, the technical difference between vision and strategy. But we have to have a vision or an overall strategy in place. And Muslims in the West are disunited. They have to be united in order to come up with a unified vision. Muslims in the Muslim countries, they have to provide facilities for Muslims in the West to produce united or unified vision. They have to also to help them in order to achieve that. I agree that it is difficult, very difficult to achieve that within a short period of time. But we have to start somewhere. So, in the beginning, maybe like this series, like TV programs, also like conferences to be carried out, like some institutions to ask for papers about possible visions for Muslims in the West. And as we said also, the vision has to be well founded on the Quran and Sunnah. Yes, many people are trying to formulate some visions, but again, as we also said, that the vision has to be well founded in on a holistic reading of the Quran and Sunnah.
So not
to be, yes.
Not taking bits and saying this is a vision, but rather, and this is not a reinterpretation, remember, we're saying look at it, picking it back from the classical works and taking everything holistically.
Yes, yes. So this is also very essential when we want to draw a vision. Then we also spoke about some lost opportunities because we did not have this vision. And we said that we may lose more opportunities if we continue just living like this without having any vision.
Or unified vision.
Unified vision, yeah, exactly. And we said that it is very important to realize that if we do not come up with a vision, either Muslims in the West in general or Muslims in these countries like Britain, France, Holland, etc., Sweden, the governments will put visions for them.
And other institutions, they will all gather visions for us.
Yes. So that's why we have to take quick steps and we have to be proactive enough in order to formulate unified visions. And then we said that if we want to come up with a vision based on the holistic reading of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, we need to highlight certain Quranic verses, and we mentioned the first verse, which is وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I have created jinn and ins for nothing but to worship me. And we have also mentioned the verse of Surah Al-Hadid, لقد أرسلنا رسلنا بالبينات وأنزلنا معهم الكتاب والميزان ليقوم الناس بالقسط. That establishing justice is one of the aims of any message. Actually, it is the aim, the main aim of each message. And then we also mentioned the ayah when Allah Jalla wa Ala says كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر. We also mentioned Surah Al-Asr, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. And from that we came up with this general vision, which is to implement Tawheed in its totality, in a very holistic approach. And we said that implementing Tawheed in that form is also identical to having ibadah, establishing ibadah in its holistic approach. And we said that if we want to establish Tawheed in its form, then we are actually making a change in each and every aspect of our life, because Tawheed in its totality, in its holistic meaning, comprises all aspects in our life, from removing anything that harms people from the street all the way up to jihad and establishing the deen of Allah Jalla wa Ala by all means. This is the real meaning of Tawheed, and this is also the comprehensive meaning of Al-Ibadah. And we also said that once the person establishes Tawheed as such, then he will go to Jannah without even being held accountable for what he did, because actually he have an amount of love in his heart and in his actions that prevents him, love to Allah Jalla wa Ala, that prevents him from committing sins. And he has also a huge amount of fear from Allah Jalla wa Ala that will stop him from committing sins. And then we said, in order to establish Tawheed in its total form, then we need to have two levels basically. The personal level, to implement Tawheed on a personal level, and to implement Tawheed on a community level. And in order to do that, we sort of built a matrix. We said individual basis and community basis. And then the first priority is to protect the identity of the individual, to protect the identity of the community as a community. This is the first point. And then, or the first column. The second column is to protect, is to call to Allah Jalla wa Ala. To call to Allah Jalla wa Ala on an individual level, as well as on a community level. So this is a matrix 2 by 2. And we have spoken about preserving the individual identity and also preserving the community identity and the measures to do that. And we said in order to protect the individual identity or the identity of the individual, he needs first of all to focus on Tawheed on a personal level, and then after Tawheed he needs to focus on the main pillars of Islam and to abstain from the main kaba'ir or major sins. And we can take this from Hadith Mu'adh ibn Jabal when the Prophet ﷺ sent him to Yemen. He said, call people to La ilaha illallah. If they accept it, then call them to implement salah, and then if they accept it, then call them to implement zakah, to give zakah. Similarly, we have to do this for communities on a community level. And we have mentioned Hadith Fudayk, where he wanted to migrate to Mecca when the Prophet ﷺ, who migrate to Medina when the Prophet ﷺ established Islam in Medina. But the Prophet ﷺ told him, stay in your place, u'budullah wahjur su, leave the sins.
So stay with your community, basically, which was not in
which is not implementing Islam, because his community told him that we have no problem with you worshipping your Lord, so you can stay with us, you are a good person. They don't want to leave him alone. So the Prophet ﷺ allowed him to stay there. So these are the two highest priority on an individual level as well as on a community level. Then we move to speak about the second column, which is what? Which is giving da'wah. Giving da'wah on an individual level and a community level. And we said that da'wah comprises three main types, or again comprises three main levels. The first level is to call people to Islam. The first level is to call non-Muslims to Islam. The second level is to call Muslims to strengthen their iman and their aqidah and their faith. And the third level is to minimize the evil and to increase the good in the society. These are the three levels of da'wah, and these three levels have to be carried out, as we said, on an individual level as well as on a community level. This is the story of the whole series that we have covered, and I believe that there are so many bits and pieces that need more clarification, and this will open the ground for so many discussions on so many things.
I think it's a good place to start. At least we have an understanding of the foundation that we need to implement. If I was going to ask you one question, Sheikh Haytham, what would you like to see in, say, 10, 15 years' time in the West? Following, if we start off now, where do you think we'll be in 10, 15 years' time?
If you remember, we have not mentioned that once we recapped, that we said on a community level we need to achieve recognition for Islam. So what I would like to see in Britain and in many non-Muslim countries is that Islam is recognized and Muslims are recognized as integral part of that society, and they have their own rights officially. For example, in brief, I would like to see the Muslim personal law accepted, officially recognized within the judicial system in all these European countries, as well as the educational system recognizes the needs for Muslims.
Well, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Haytham Haddad. If you want more information on this topic, you could visit the website of the foundation, the MRDF, the islam21c.com. You'll get more information on this topic, and you'll be able to ask the Sheikh himself some questions on this website. If you've got any views about this whole episode, this whole series, please send your emails to feedback@huda.tv. Well, until next time, I'll leave you with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.